And I want also to share that this is personal, by the way. This year, I think it is last, not this year, it is even this month, that this year I did my exams from the Deep Democracy Institute, and where I've been studying for the last, like now, 10 years or so. So I qualified for having a diploma in process work through Deep Democracy Institute. So it was announced to all the people, and I'm happy to share that news with you, and that I am a diplomate of process work through Deep Democracy Institute.
Yes, congratulations, Emmanuel. That's just great. It's so beautiful.
We're so pleased and proud to hear that, Emmanuel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
that is, as a professor myself, I know, and a student more than a professor, I know what that work entails. Very good.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful thesis there as well that I look forward to diving into. And
yeah.
I'll send you that, Randy, if I haven't done that. I thought I did.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah, so maybe, Emmanuel, maybe that's a good place to just transition however briefly here, because you interviewed elders for your thesis, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Collect indigenous wisdom.
Yes.
And what could you briefly summarize? I mean, how did that impact you, or what would you say you carry forward from that you would briefly share? I mean, what's the big takeaway for you in that journey?
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. It's an amazing, wonderful question. Thank you. What inspired me to research or to interview these older people? In fact, I interviewed the oldest person was a woman with 115 years, still alive.
Wow.
And I wanted to know, because of all that days she has lived since then until now, what differences that he has experienced, and what can he have for us, maybe to think for now and also to think about the future, and what could she tell us how we can live maybe towards taking care of ourselves. And what she said is that she said, I didn't have the opportunity to go to school, but I feel I have learned a lot from my elders and from my sisters and until now, because people, they don't believe that those who already die, they still communicate, and if you open your heart, you still can learn from them.
Oh.
You see the photo?
Beautiful, Barbara. Oh.
So you see these photos?
Yes.
Yeah. So what she said is that she was very angry when the system of education was monopolized, and could bring only human wisdom without natural wisdom. And for her, he said, wisdom from people themselves without the wisdom of nature combined together, there is no sustainability, there is no continuity. And he said that everything that they used to do with their hands, and they used to communicate deeply with nature through forest, through the soil, through the atmosphere. And there were some sacred people who were like doctors today, But during those time, there were doctors because they did not have the formal education, but they had the education from nature and how they were educated towards protecting and taking care of other people's healthy, and towards this people could grow in a natural way, and caring for one another and caring for nature was one and part parcel of life. But she's very worried about tomorrow, as she said, because everything that he sees with his eyes, he's afraid maybe tomorrow it may not be there because it lacks sustainability in terms of nature. The children that we are growing, he told she said, you know, you are very little and young children of whom you need to sit and learn from people like us to share what we have gone through, but because of the system of education you don't have the time, and all your soul and mind is towards that. So I said, I wish to develop this and share this with the children that I have at the center and those who will come at the center, so that as much as we want to get the government curriculum, we have to add this wisdom and learnings from the elders, so that we create a center of a healing center, of a teaching center, of a cultural center, of a natural center where people value the life, not only the life of humanity, but the life of nature at large. And taking care of that will be also taking care of ourselves and taking care of our own hearts. So she said that her deep advice is that if we could get back, because they used to protect forest. Forest was something called very sacred. No one could touch forest. But when the formal education came, that was post-colonial, then everything changed, because colonizers used to cut the forests that were sacred and make furniture, and because it was plenty of that, so the so-called sacred areas within the community was partly demolished or was partly destroyed, and nature was not given a priority within the hearts of the people. So what my take is from these interviews of the old men and women is that I need personally with my own heart to incorporate the lifestyle of the elders, and also open my mind to listen from the ancestors, of which, according to the religion and religious, it may not be as per that, but it is something that we can learn, and it is something that our ancestors have been believed in, and they have been trusting in the most powerful God through the ancestors, and through protecting the creation or nature that we have. And that is my take, giving the children the natural way of being and learning together and staying together and being with the natural part of taking care of the nature aspect, and being open to learn from the elders and to hear from the elders and what motivated them to move on within this time of, because they said hunger is not a new thing. They said drought is not a new thing, but every hunger or every drought that came had a communication and had a purpose, and people had a way to go into through that. But nowadays, people they don't have, because they don't seek the wisdom of the fortune tellers. They don't seek the wisdom of people who have been having a natural communication direct with nature and towards the people, because they say not all people may be chosen to communicate through this way, but these people need to be spared, need to be given the time and opportunity. So when your dead father comes to you and want to talk to you, you don't say this is a sin, but you can open and learn and hear his voice and hear his steps, and then you can follow this and then combine with what you are learning today to get an even more sustainable way towards also the technology part of it. So that's my take, and I wrote most of this in my thesis. I think it is in my thesis, and how it brings and creates a path of learning and inclusiveness in terms of nature, in terms of protecting the natural things within us. Because they say the most you start, once you start protecting natural things, you are protecting your own heart. And that was deep for me, because I don't know how, but it is. Because the moment you start engaging yourself in taking care of the creation or taking care of the natural activities, you get a sense of communication that is becoming even more sacred, and this heals your heart.
Wow.
Oh, Emmanuel, that is so beautiful and so well stated. I'm so excited to read your thesis, and it puts me in mind of, peace from the soil, wisdom from the elders.
Yes.
Beautiful, Randy.
That this is the bigger mission, and I'll share briefly with you that I'm involved with an institution here in Santa Fe that is committed to higher education, committed to training healers and counselors and art therapists to decolonize the mind. All of our minds have been colonized. All of our minds in modern society have been colonized. And so the bigger project, the bigger mission, and the bigger picture is exactly everything you have elucidated and enumerated in your wonderful monologue just now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Randy, I would like to know more about this institute and the curriculum. Can you?
Well, very good, Barbara. It's easy. Southwesterncollege.edu.
Okay. And what is the course called?
It's a small graduate school that is awarding master's degrees to counselors, healers, art therapists, and the new doctoral program is Visionary Practice and Regenerative Leadership. That's coming online this next year.
Wow.
And the mission is the transformation of consciousness through education is the mission.
Wow. Amazing.
And so it's so in alignment, Emmanuel, with what you're saying. So I'm just getting shivers up my spine. Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
I really like that. First of all, thank you so much, Emmanuel. And I'm just not blown away because I had the chance to read it before, but still when you speak it blows me away again. And and also I'm thinking of future leaders, like they must be there at the center because we are running out of time. The children are trained to speak English, and they are trained to speak Swahili, and they have so much formal knowledge or formal education that they have to master, and so what about this old wisdom, and what space can we create that it's valued?
I have created at least after every 2 weeks we have a campfire that starts at around 6:30 and it goes until 9. So all the children come, we bring them together, and we also invite one elder or any old man who can share with the children maybe his or her experience of the past. And also we let the children also at that very time, we don't speak English when we have visitors, but we speak Giriama. We speak Giriama language with the children and try to bring them to awareness and a deep connection to the earth and deep connection to their ancestors through the eldership of these elders. So we share this. So regardless what they want to become in future, they have to have this in their heart, because I'm sure and I know it will really help them in their eldership. And once they do this and try to protect and care for the soil, then they will be creating a natural connection, and there will be a deeper sacredness, and healing will take place in their heart, and they will be able to create this scenario for a healing process for others too. So when I learned this, then I created the campfire. We call it campfire. We call it dome in our language. But this is a space like what Barbara you have asked. This is a space where we allow the children to and the elders to share and to know what are some of the cultural aspects that they need to embrace and grow into, like protecting the forest, protecting the trees, protecting the soil, and also bringing up the natural way of living together with natural things and protecting them brings a deeper understanding, a deeper awareness of the life that is ahead and which we need to make it even more sustainable.
Wow.
Amen.
Yes.
Beautiful. Tishi, I want to welcome you in, and great to see you. And I'm so glad you got to be in on at least this last part of the call here.
Yeah, I had the time wrong on the note you sent, said 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
So I thought at least catch the tail end. But Emmanuel, I'm telling you, this is where we need to go. And I'm so happy I got this part in, because I feel like we've gone away from humanity and treating Mother Earth and our oceans in the way that the natives always have, the island nations and the ocean, the inland nations and the Native Americans, and all of that has gone away from us. And that's why we're losing a grip on humanity. We are not learning from the earth and our elders. We are ignoring our elders in a lot of countries, ours especially. And I just think it's beautiful that you're doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I've been muted most of the time because I've just been drinking in everything that you've been saying and sharing, Emmanuel, and I so appreciate it. And so much of it, there is such a connection, because so much of what you're saying about learning from the elders, as Tishi was saying, it's where my spiritual growth and path has taken me to. And I am looking forward to reading your thesis. Larry did send a link when he sent out the email about this call. And every bit of this just resonates so deeply. And the embracing trees and nature, and when there is a wound, when trees are destroyed. Yesterday was actually the anniversary of the property right across the street where they slaughtered trees a year ago. And some of it has settled down, but that is a deep wound by taking away that just to build houses for money, for greed. But I love the fact that you speak about connecting not only with our elders who are still living, but there is no divide. Just because they've stepped on the other side of the veil, we still can learn from them, and we can and do, and it is appropriate to do that. And I just appreciate your words. It just I'm just overwhelmed with how awesome this call has been. I just appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Marjorie.
There's several people, Tom and Marjorie or Barbara, saying you have to go, Randy. Maybe it's a good time to just create a transition for that. And if other folks want to stay on a few minutes, we'll go ahead and do that. But love and appreciation to each of you.
Dinner time.
Oh, dinner time, yes. And kids, yes. Barbara. Bye, Randy, Tom. Thank you. Tishi.
I have a question for Emmanuel. Is
Sure.
any of the others female? Are there any influence in the female part of this educating? Because we learn so much from the mother. And is that being brought into the campfire at all?
Emmanuel, speak again. I didn't hear you. I saw your mouth move. Let's see. Something's not connected, Emmanuel.
Can you hear?
Yeah, try again now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now. Oops, I lost you again.
Can you repeat your question?
Yes. Are you bringing in any, are there any first female elders? Because I believe learning the female and the mother influence is so important for children too. And so are any women allowed into the campfire? When I say women, are they teaching as well?
Yes. In fact, it's from the oldest elders I interviewed were women and old women, and they were so much happy and touched to share what they have accumulated during their life. And during campfire, we bring this. We call them Hawe, their grandmothers, and they are so happy to speak openly of what they have accumulated as wisdom, and they give also guidance towards how to live sacredly and how to connect deeper to yourself and to your heart, because they say once you connect deeper to your heart, they say you don't connect to God, but you connect to your ancestors, and your ancestors are living with God. So you have to when you connect, then you are connected to the higher sacred powers. So I think this is a very huge learning, and we bring women, and mostly whom do come during campfires are also women, to share their wisdom.
Great. Thanks, Emmanuel. Tishi, one piece you missed there is
last time our campfire we did, we had visitors from the Germany, and they were able also to share stories of how they lived with their grandfathers, and I think there was something that is so much connected with nature, and I thought that wow, this education that we have, it's worldwide, and how the native people used to live on this earth, they were all protecting the soil, they were all protecting with nature. Only some greedy people who wanted to manipulate and change this, then
Your volume has gone down, Emmanuel.
yeah.
I can't hear you as well. Is everybody else?
yes, same.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Okay, so I think the campfire is really doing great in the hearts of the children, because they are now able to find their roots, regardless of what they learn in school, in their class as per the government curriculum. But I think they are so much advantaged being at the center, because they learn how to take care of the soil. They go to put their hands to the soil, and also taking care of animals and the chickens, and taking care, planting trees, and now they know that, like, okay, if I may share this, the children planted trees, and they are taking care of the of the trees, and because it is very dry, only these trees are green because the children give water on daily basis. So they come up with a very good way of protecting them from goats, and also from other animals to destroy them. What they did is that they get dry woods, and then they just like make a small circle, not like this, but they pile like one, and then another one on top, another one on top, another one on top, like building like a small tower. So the tree is growing, getting a lot of air and a lot of energy at the same a lot of sun at the same time. These poles and trees provide shade to the tree, and I think this was very innovative way of protecting trees.
Beautiful. Tishi, the oldest elder that Emmanuel interviewed is a woman that was 115.
I'm happy she's alive. And the oldest man I had interviewed was 110.
Wow.
Man.
There's a reason also for that longevity, and it is probably lifestyle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Well, have you had dinner, Emmanuel?
Yes, I have had my dinner.
Good.
Because the call was at 8.
Yeah.
So I took my dinner at 7. It was
Good.
good timing. Mm.
Okay. Well, this is probably a good transition time, but Tishi and Marjorie, so glad always, what a pleasure to see each and all of you, Emmanuel, of course. It's just a community of love and inspiration here, and heart goes out to each of you.
Yes.
Thank
I'm
you
so
much.
happy to be back with all of you.